Amazing Digital Circus just got leaked, and today I'm gonna be showing you all of the leaked information, Easter eggs you definitely missed, and a potential release date for episode 2. With having 170 million views at the time of recording this video, and having really good feedback from the community, I think we can expect to see the next episode very early 2024, and here's why. When Glitch Productions waited an entire year to release episode 2 of the Murder Drones, they lost over half of their viewership in that time, and it's fair to say they wouldn't want to lose all this momentum right now that they have with the Amazing Digital Circus that is currently breaking the internet. It's also confirmed by the director of Amazing Digital Circus, Gooseworks, on Tumblr that we're gonna get a full season of the Amazing Digital Circus, and each episode is gonna follow the 7 characters in order of Pomni, Jax, Zooble, Gringle, Rigatha, Kingler, and potentially Kane, which means that the next episode is gonna be about Jax, which might actually break the internet even more than the first episode, because everybody loves Jax. Gooseworks also confirmed that the episodes are already fully written, which means we could be even closer to the next episode of Amazing Digital Circus than we might actually think. But I decided to dive deeper so I could find an exact release date for you guys, and I might have just found some clues hidden deep in the pilot episode that could directly hint to the next episode of Amazing Digital Circus. Let's start from the beginning where Kane introduces us to the circus and plays the intro.
Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the show.
Jingle and Zooble and Keener too. Ragga, Jax, and Kaufmo will.
Now, it turns out that Kaufmo the Clown wasn't actually in the intro because he was abstracted in the episode, and Pomni wasn't in the intro either because she joined the circus after the intro. But for episode 2, we have to assume that Kaufmo would be removed from the intro because he got sent to the cellar as shown here.
Kaufmo abstracted? Why didn't anybody tell me? And into the cellar you go.
And we also have to assume that Pomni would be added into the intro for episode 2. With this being said, the show can take 2 directions here. Another character comes in to make it a perfect 7 again, or every episode one character gets abstracted until there's one character left in the final episode of Amazing Digital Circus, because it's been previously confirmed that each episode would be based around one character. So I think that's the most likely thing that we could see happening throughout the show. It's also shown as an Easter egg in the show when Pomni and Jax are walking to Kaufmo's room. You can see a lot of unfamiliar faces in the background. And because nobody can escape, we can only assume that every other character on the doorframe as shown in the images have been abstracted for going crazy and have ended up in the cellar with Kaufmo. Which leads us to my theory where throughout the show, every single character will abstract and go into insanity as there is no escape to this digital world. But speaking of escaping the digital world, the craziest thing that I found in the pilot that directly hints at episode 2 is when Pomni goes through the exit door and gets put into the office that resembles something from the real world. Pomni keeps walking through the office until she finds a computer which is later inferred that controls the simulation, which could mean that the entire digital circus is controlled through that computer, and for everyone trapped in the simulation to escape, they need to go back to this computer and somehow escape using it. But now if we want to find out more information about what episode 2 could look like, we need to look into whose computer this is and how everyone ended up in the circus. But thankfully, I found a clue that could tell us who's behind this and how everyone ended up in the simulation. Now this might be a stretch, but bear with me because this is the only thing I found that can piece everything together once and for all. When Pomni first spawns in the circus, she is really confused and can't take her headset off.
My, it appears a new human has entered this realm.
How do I take this headset off?
Just keep grabbing at it. That works for all of us.
With this in mind, it's safe to assume that whatever headset Pomni put on is not a normal headset, which means she most likely got kidnapped and strapped into some sort of headset or machine she couldn't take off. But who would do this to Pomni? There's only one reasonable explanation. It's Cain. Cain most likely felt alone in the real world and decided the only way he could feel powerful again is by creating the digital circus. So he decided to go on his computer and create a simulation with the people he kidnapped to have his ideal world the way he's always wanted it. This makes even more sense when you consider the only way people disappear is when they abstract. Nobody has ever escaped this digital world, for what we know at least, which can be symbolic for quite literally going insane or dying in the real world. But there's one more thing we have to talk about that's crucial for finding out what episode 2 can be about.
Night, day, it's all okay. The choice is yours, a cosmic buffet.
Is that all there is?
Of course not. This is the Void.
That's right, the Void. And I have a theory about how the Void will play a really big part in episode 2. Pomni is gonna tell the other characters in the circus about her findings in the video until she eventually convinces somebody to adventure out there with her. And that person would be Jax. And we can also assume that another character will abstract in this episode. But who will it be? Well, that's a whole other theory for another day. So subscribe if you want me to make a video about that. And because you watched this video all the way to the end, you'll definitely like this video on screen right now. But with that being said, have an amazing day.